Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack today. I'm back with pack number 7 in my 1988 Topps Mini Leaders box. I'm trying to see how many packs I have to crack to get all 77 cards in the complete set. I've included the link to the preview video in the description below, which gives a little explanation on the set and the highlights of what I could pull in cracking these packs. Since each pack only has 7 picture cards in it, I'll guess which category or categories the player led their league, then I'll flip the card over to see if I was right or how very bad my memory is of the 1987 MLB season. So I've also got this checklist I'm using to keep track of everything. So as we get to cracking this pack, I'm going to mark off number 7. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And we'll get to cracking this pack. So the goal is no duplicates and to complete the set as quickly as possible so I can start completing a second set. Maybe I could get even a third set. All right, so I'll flip it over real quick so that I don't cheat on knowing what the player led the league in. There's our nifty Spring Fever Baseball. What was the tagline many years ago? Spring training, catch the fever, or spring training fever, catch it. Spring no baseball, so I guess there's no spring training fever. Okay, first card is Wally Joyner. So 1987 was Wally Joyner's rookie year. He had a phenomenal year. Wally World was, he was termed in playing for the California Angels, who were based in Anaheim. And so he took the league by storm. Unfortunately, he wasn't Rookie of the Year. That went to Jose Canseco, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'm going to say that he was a league leader in home run, RBI. What the heck, I'll even go with game-winning RBI since that's a stat I've missed a couple of times. So we flip it over, and he was third in home runs with 34 and fourth with 117 RBI. He had a tremendous rookie year. I may have missed it. Yeah, you know what? 86 was his rookie year, not 87. Wow. Well, my memory failed me on that one. His second year is his best year of his career. He kind of dropped off in the power perspective after that year, but still a great player. Wally Joyner. Actually, one of my favorite players. I sort of off and on collect him in my PC. Next we have Willie Randolph. Randolph spent a number of years with the Yankees until getting traded to the Dodgers. Actually, not as a trade. He signed with the Dodgers as a free agent, and Steve Sax signed as a free agent with the Yankees. Randolph originally came up with the Pirates as a prospect, then moved on to the Yankees. I'm going to have to go with, he didn't hit a ton of home runs, didn't have high batting average. I'm going to go with, let's go with stolen bases and doubles. Nope, missed it. He had a high on-base percentage and then was ranked 9th in walks. So my memory completely failed me on that one. He did hit 305, which was, a higher batting average, but no, didn't even come close in doubles or steals. He only played 120 games that year, so that may have been why his batting statistics were down a little bit. So let's mark off Willie Randolph. Billy Hatcher. Speedy Billy Hatcher of the Houston Astros. Hatcher really helped them out in their run in the 1986 playoffs. This guy had a ton of speed. He hit the ball on the ground in the AstroTurf there in the Astrodome, and run it out for a single. The guy had tremendous amount of speed, so I'm going to go with stolen bases. That may be an easy call. Yep, he was third in stolen bases with 53 that year. If Vince Coleman isn't terrorizing the league in the first 4 or 5 years with the St. Louis Cardinals, Hatcher probably is a league leader, if not higher on the list. Okay, so far so good. Missing all of those dreaded duplicates. So we get Billy Hatcher marked off. Next we have Rick Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe came over to the Cubs in the middle of the 1984 season. He was pitching around 500 baseball with the Cleveland Indians. He was part of a blockbuster trade that sent Joe Carter, along with others, to the Indians. Sutcliffe went on to win 16 games with the Cubs and led them to the playoffs in 1984. Missed the World Series because they lost to the Padres in the National League Championship Series. Sutcliffe, I'm going to probably go with complete games, wins. I don't think he was a league leader in ERA, so I'm going to go with wins, complete games, probably innings pitched. Well, I got wins. He led the league with 18 wins. Complete games, he was 8th. He was 6th in strikeouts, 6th in innings, and 8th, tied with games started in 34. So we'll get Rick Sutcliffe marked off here. Okay, next up we have Vince Coleman of my beloved St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah, I'm a Cardinals homer. Coleman had a knack for stolen bases. His first 3 years in the league, he stole over 100 bases each season. He probably would have stolen more bases, but his difficulty was on-base percentage and batting average. He perennially hit around 260-something, 270 in batting average, and his on-base percentage was quite a bit lower than what you think for a leadoff hitter. In fact, one of my favorite stories was in spring training one year. Whitey Herzog tried to convince Vince Coleman to have more of a chop in his swing. Told him, if for every ground ball you're going to hit, you're going to get on base because of your speed. And if I remember that spring training, there was some sort of bet that for every ground ball Vince Coleman hit and got on base, he would get like $50 or something like that. But for every pop-up or strikeout, he owed Whitey Herzog $50. So kind of interesting. For me, Vince Coleman, this is going to be an easy one. He's a league leader in stolen bases. So 101 stolen bases, second in the league with 121 runs, and fourth in the league with 180 hits. He had one of his better years where he hit 289, and he was instrumental in helping the Cardinals get to the World Series in '87. Unfortunately, they lost to the Minnesota Twins. So let's get Vince Coleman marked off. Next, we have Don Mattingly, superstar with the Yankees. I think that he's a Hall of Famer. He's a little more borderline of a Hall of Famer than Dale Murphy and some of the others that I've mentioned, Dwight Evans, Dave Parker. He didn't have much in the way of longevity, but I mean, you could look at him in the same scope as people looked at Kirby Puckett. He had to retire early because of injuries. My guess here is because Mattingly and Wade Boggs were always battling for the batting average lead. I'm going to say that Mattingly ranked high in batting average, hits. I can't remember if '87 was the year where he had a bunch of home runs and RBI as well, but for most offensive categories, Mattingly was a league leader. So I'm going to definitely go with batting average and hits. So he ranked third in doubles with 38, fifth in batting average, 327, run batted in, fifth with 115, seventh in slugging percentage, and seventh tied in hits. So as you can see, Don Mattingly had some great years in the mid-'80s to late '80s before his body kind of broke down on him. Okay, let's get Don Mattingly marked off over here. Okay, and then we have Mark McGwire, who's our final card. I'm a fan of Mark McGwire. Even before he played with the Cardinals, he had superstar written all over him when he came up with the Oakland A's. His 1987 season was the year that he set the American League rookie record for home runs in a season, which has since been broken. I believe Aaron Judge is the holder of that now. McGwire, got messed up in steroids. If he hadn't got messed up in steroids, he'd probably be in the Hall of Fame already. Of course, if he hadn't got messed up in steroids, who knows if he'd hit a lot of home runs. I tend to think he still would have hit a lot of home runs just based upon his ability early on in his career to hit home runs and, by all accounts, wasn't on steroids in his early years. Probably got mixed up into it in the mid-'90s when he had an assortment of injuries and had to get back healthy. In this particular year, I believe he is the league leader in home runs and RBI. So, yeah, this was his breakout rookie year where he had 49 home runs, 118 RBI. That ranked first and third in the league. He was first in slugging percentage and 8th in game-winning RBI with 14. So we'll get McGwire marked off. My favorite card out of the pack. Yep, I'm a complete homer. I don't care. I mean, Mark McGwire's a great card. Don Manning's a great card. You know, a lot of these are just fantastic cards. I'm going to go with Vince Coleman. Vince Coleman brings back a lot of memories for me when I was a kid. Huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. Watched him come up in 1985 and take the baseball, baseball by storm with all of his stolen bases. 110 steals his rookie year, and then he was over 100 for the next 3 years. As we saw, he had 109 steals in 1987. A lot of what could have been if he had been more of a contact hitting into the ground, especially AstroTurf from Busch Stadium. Got on base a ton more, stole a lot of bases. It was fun to watch him steal second, then he'd steal third, and the Cardinals won a ton of low-scoring games, 1-0 games, 2-0, 3-1, 2-1, you name it, because of pitching and defense, the complete Whitey Ball era. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Also share with me in the comments with what your favorite card or what you thought was the best card in the pack. Until next time, when I'm back to crack the next pack of 1988 Topps Mini Leaders in my quest to complete the set.